Sijonge uba sihlala phi. How are you going to help Mama?
What's the word on my beautiful sister-in-law, Alude?
Alude hasn't exactly been on her best behavior behind those bars. She has been playing who's the best tigress.
A lot of people are asking what 7 colors actually means, and we know that in black homes, 7 colors means it's a time for family lunch. It means it's Sunday lunch. It means the best food on the table. It means dessert. It means, the best of the best. And essentially, this story is about abandonment. And in South Africa, that's such a huge issue. And we wanted to tell the story because we feel like so many people see it every day. They see hobos on the streets and no one really knows their story. So 7 Colors is a story about abandonment, and our protagonist is on a journey to try and basically get his family back so he can have that 7 Colors meal, so he can have that family time and have that love and to share it with everybody else. And that's what 7 Colors means. Instead of just saying, hey, here's a story about family, we're trying to speak to the people, because if you want to make a proudly South African story, even the way you name it should be something that your audience can kind of relate to and reflect on it and understand that, hey, this is 7 Colors, it's what we use, and this thing is happening wherever we go. And 7 Colors means family, it means love, it means a happy home, it means food. Of course, it was going to be difficult in the beginning because you don't live with hobos. You understand how these people speak. All you have is what you see. But what we did as a crew is our cast is 90% young people our age. So we kind of got into our own heads of, if I was in this situation, this is what would be going on, because these are people. They are young people. They just put in a very difficult situation in life. So writing the story was more not of trying to see what hobos are saying, but rather what young people are saying in South Africa, how we are feeling, and we wrote in that perspective of, this is us, this is how we feel, and if we were dealt with these cards, how would you react to that? So that's how we wrote the script.
Nobody actually has the time or energy to actually go listen to a street kid's history, because already they have certain labels that they carry on themselves because of this, the society that we live in. So it's relevant in that sense that we get to know that maybe one of the stories or reasons why this person might be at the street, it was kind of sometimes not by their choices, but we assume that they just ran away from home. Hence we start aligning them with drugs and those kind of things that are negative to the society.
The character that I'm playing, his name is Thando. He's a Xhosa boy from Xhosa family. He's underprivileged. He's very, very underprivileged. He's homeless at the moment, living with his uncle in an abandoned house. I've played a handful of angry characters. So that's the only thing that I think was easy to grasp with this character, his anger and his sadness. It was something that was easy to jump onto, but other than that, everything else about him was very different. The language, for sure, that was definitely the first one. Language, for the pure fact that I've never spoken Xhosa in my life.
How are you going to help Mama?
You want the temper.
Plus, the whole homeless thing is something that I've never even come close to even experiencing, so it was a completely different world trying to get to understand in one way or another.
What I'd like people to connect to in this series through the character is the desperation. There's a lot of desperation in this country, especially with homeless people. So I think it's something that not a lot of people consider from the homeless person's perspective. It's always from your perspective being affected by the homeless person. So I think that gives it an opportunity for another perspective to be seen.
Okay, so Van Dam is a homeless beggar. He's a car guard. He stands by the shops, he collects money, obviously, like I said before, to feed his family and to further his dream, which his dream is to become a rich and famous guy that will pull a lot of girls, and live a life that he's never had before. And he inspires his little brother as well. Some of the challenges I faced was, obviously I'm not a hobo, I'm not a beggar. It was a bit difficult at the start because trying to get into that character was a bit difficult for me because, like I said, I wasn't there before. So I had to now place myself in that shoes and do as a car guard would do. And I think one of the points that helped me and assisted me was I recalled watching a few colored car guards do the exact same thing and see how they interact with people and how people should treat them. And that's how I got the attitude from and how to do that, yeah.
The wardrobe styling and makeup of this production was fun, but it was very difficult because we never really, I've never tested how it would be to make a person dirty or make the clothes dirty. So I had to go and research things and look at the hobos on the streets mostly, seeing how dirty they are so I can not make them ridiculous, and see that there are actually kind of different hobos out there. There are people that are clean and there are ones that are dirty and extreme dirty. So I needed every character, I had to like read the character, what kind of character this is, so they would wear, how they would wear, in sense like Rosie is a very rude and strict character, so I had to give him that street swag, and Thando is very calm, so I also had to choose the colors of how the character was going to wear to portray them. Okay, where did I learn how to do the makeup? It was my place. I experimented in my place. I just took my old clothing and I started doing like to make it dirty and put it outside, and yeah, so that's when I knew that I needed. So I told my producer, I need this and the budget is this, because I already experimented with it and I saw what I was missing. So I was like, okay, if I could buy this and do this, I could do this, and that's how I learned.
Well, my responsibilities as an assistant director were to prepare call sheets, prepare like the shooting schedule, making sure that everyone gets 12 hours turnaround time, which was hard because it was completely very like 100% impossible. It was also I was also like on set. I was responsible for like working with the performers, yeah, throughout rehearsals and until the day of shoot. The difficult part was trying to please, like make sure that everyone gets enough rest. Because when you work so hard, you need everyone to get rest so that they can able to portray their characters. So the scheduling was the hardest part because you have problems with the locations. You only have it from this time to this time. Certain actors are only available on this day. That was the hardest part. But like I can say like we managed to like put it together.
Pre-prod was a lot of work, you know, because as a director, this was for me the first time whereby I had to deal with such a big production, you know, 24 minutes with so many scenes, so many characters, and the planning of the shot lists and the floor plans and the camera plans were actually a lot. I even had like a stack of plans because I had to set up, I had to have different setups for different camera angles and such. So, but it made my job easier on the production because when I got there, all I had to do was implement exactly what I had. So with the experimenting with my medium, this was actually the fun part for me. As I was designing these camera plans, I was visualizing it in my head. I'm like, what could make this show stand out in terms of the medium's point of view? So I had one of these shots, which was a tracking shot from a room to another room. There was one where we followed Thando. It was like a one continuous shot. So I wanted to try a scene out which was inspired by a movie, Birdman, whereby you have one continuous shot throughout the movie. So I wanted to try out a continuous shot, you know, in a scene. So how I worked with my characters to evoke emotion without the medium was, first of all, I had a really good AD. You know, she worked hard on working with the characters. You know, we understood each other. We were on the same page in terms of performances and things. So she understood the medium too, which made it easier for her to work with the characters. And what I like about the characters is that they understood their characters, you know, as performers. There was a few exercises actually that we did during the rehearsals, you know, that got the chemistry going. So we made sure that the chemistry was going well with the human beings that we're working with, so that when they bring the characters, they come to life together with that chemistry. For example, Thando and Charlie, you know, would pair them together, or Thando and Alude would pair them together now and then, and would do exercises, you know, in order for them to become those characters. What I love about the story and what I hope the audience will get from what we've done is I love the fact that, first of all, it speaks to another side of South Africa that hasn't exactly been explored as much in television. You know, we get to see a life that we're so curious about, because all we see is these people on the street asking us for money, but we don't really know what they're going through. You know, they have a household, you know, they have a head of house, they have brothers and sisters. So in a way, we're trying to show the audience that these people are human beings too at the end of the day. As much as we might see them as, you know, passively, we engage with them more in the story, which is what we try to execute.